What's up? What it do? Swear I don't feel like cooking nothing, bro. I don't feel like cooking nothing. There's a bunch of shit down here. What's up with y'all though? Yeah, what's the word?
This is Slash. Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses. Do y'all got Too Short Whistle from Brother Whistle? I don't believe we do. This is something special. This is Bobby Marley's hat. This is the crown that he wore in the music video for Is This Love? Let me see if it's smelling like
Billie Jean. Not mine. My son is wild, bro.
It's like the foot and the hands talk to each other. Hey, how's it going? Not bad. Yeah, that's it.
Nah, we gonna have to change that. It's too much music in that for me to be online. Let me see. What's up, though? What the business is? Oh, they got this on Amazon Prime, mama.
Especially the water heater and trains with our whole home plumbing inspection.
What it do, Lord? See how you be? You watch that football game? The following program contains intense language and drug use. There goes some more music right there. Police in that video look just like COs.
When we open our front door, what we seeing together? They try to hide what's going on. We tell it like it is. Check it out, Beautiful Club B. You know one that came out of Compton.
Oh, they got Whack 100 on there. I didn't even know who he was at that time.
What do you think the people in Compton are thinking right now?
Oh, they all are jumping. They're probably going to go out and smoke a little weed.
Richard Williams, man. They're probably gonna go out and smoke a little weed. Elon Musk with Trump in office is taking over the world. A homie just topped $400 billion on the Forbes list. Crazy wealth right there. Juwan, you getting into politics? I thought sports was your expertise. What's this channel about? Oh man, DC Blacks. This the first time you tuned into the channel. Where you from, Alex? All things DC. Right now, you just tuned into my live broadcast while I'm watching TV. You feel me? Representing our city movement.
A lot of people don't know the history. They don't know it started over a group of kids that said, listen, we're going to stand alone. We the Power Root Boys. Going places where cameras are never allowed to go. You don't walk around here without a pistol. You don't get gas at nighttime. Telling stories that have never been told. We have to put on camera. I say it was that back at him, but we had to do what we had to do. Stories about the rise of gangs. They started buying AK-47s, Uzis. You might have 15 victims at the scene. You had a low-level guerrilla war.
Oh, they went back into the 80s on this jump. Shout out to the Cali crew. Tapping in from Los Angeles, Southside Sereno, homie. Okay. Coming straight from the underground. He said Southside Sereno, homie. Oh, they got Yellow Boy on there. Nah, that's the stock market. He taking advantage of. Nah, I'm a political guy, but the fact is he's in Trump's ear. He's going to dominate a lot of competitors because China is crippling his wealth in their country. Watch out, go sit down, bye. Maryland side tapping in. Okay, salute. What my man from Cali say? I got love for my black brothers and sisters. Don't get it twisted. I was raised on hip hop and love all the black films. Laugh out loud. Okay. I did not know who this dude Wack 100 was when this documentary came out. Like, what's his backstory? What make him so special? Like, how you know everybody's business before it even hit the internet? Sit down, man. I mean, we tell you no more. Sit down. I refuse to get into politics. Too dangerous.
Game represents the best and the worst of what our city is.
See, a lot of people think Serranos are racist. Okay. He must want to give us some Serrano history. Where the Serranos come from? Educate us. With Compton at? Educate us. On a Serrano tip. Mac 100 is a West Coast legend. He did 20 years in the pen and a known, knock people out. He is really whack, though. He is a racist towards Mexicans. I don't like him. Whoa. You might really be from Cali, huh? Sometimes I don't be believing people. You gotta forgive me for that. He did 20 years. That's a true bill. I ain't know that. I never heard that either. East Side Pyru. Oh, they just showing all love to all the bloods. Oh, they got different type of Hispanic gangs in Compton. Where you from out there? You said Sereno, Southern California. Mexican from Bakersfield. Down to San Diego, Norteño, San Francisco, and up north. I learned that much in prison. That sound about right. That sound about right. You been to federal prison before? You been to prison before? Wack used to be a buff ass dude, but he stopped working out. He just chunky now. He kind of big dude though. I give you that. I'm from Southeast LA. Shout out to Southeast LA. Nah, I'm young. I'm 23. I only did some county lead before. I wasn't asking you that to challenge you. I was just trying to figure out if you had encountered dealt with black people before. Cause you said something about people think Serranos is racist, but I ran into a lot of Serranos on the East Coast, and some of them that was from the West Coast, they have racist attitudes. It'll make you not like them sometimes if you black. Now, I know me being a black guy from DC, I'm sure the Mexicans and the Hispanic gangs from out west probably heard bad things about us too, but I met a couple of guys that said they was Serrano and they was racist, man. I ain't gonna lie. And I don't know if they was forced to be that way. Just like when I was in the penitentiary. Yeah, it was a dude by the name of Fox. I don't know whatever happened to him. I heard some things about him. But he was the Paisa. And we was cool. You know what I mean? We ain't had no problems. Man, that's a lot of fun. We was cool with some of them. Whack versus Psych in a boxing match. Who you got? I got Psych because if Whack get out on him and do something to him. DC Blacks do a champ, something. Man, ain't no fair fight. Whack can't get out on Psych. But let me stop talking crazy. Psych could beat Psych could beat Whack up, bro. So, Whack can touch everything in the ring or everything in the city one way or the other. And they went back to the 40s in Compton. Damn, H.W. Bush lived in Compton for a second as a kid? I didn't know that. I learned something watching that jump. Yeah, it depends on what part of LA they from. It definitely exists, but in the South and in the Southeast, we share certain hoods and projects. Alex, I'm starting to believe that you're a real Sereno. You ain't said nothing wrong yet. Not saying my exact hood, but we clicked up with some Crips out here. They got our back and they dumping on our enemies. Come on now. You had said enough already. He said, and they dumping on our enemies too. So that's like some black and Mexican shit. But why wouldn't that be the case if y'all from the same hood, man? I never understood that if it wasn't. I don't want to get into all that on here though. Man, shout out to the Serenos that ain't racist though. I had a Sereno that was in my man. I had a man from Where my man G Train's from? Connecticut. I forgot if it was Hartford or Bridgeport. Forgive me, Connecticut. Shout out to Connecticut. Shout out to man. That's Hartford, bro. That's Hartford, Connecticut. So anyway, they used to put anybody in a cell in the FCI, so it was a three-man cell. A lot of time when you first get off the bus from somewhere, you were going to three-man cell. So in this one three-man cell, they had a dude from somewhere like Carolina, like he was real quiet. I don't remember where he was from. And he was in there by himself for a minute. So I guess since he had a three-man cell to himself for a minute, he stayed there. Busload come in. They brought my man G Train, and the G Train one of them old thorough convicts, like one of them old Lawton dudes, but he just come from Connecticut. He been all around the feds since he was a teenager. At this time, he was in his late 40s. Rumbling dude, I'm talking about, man, hit you and break your whole face. G Train, a lot of dudes know him from Connecticut, Hartford, Connecticut. Shout out to G Train, shout out to Hartford. And nevertheless, it was a Mexican in the cell, and G Train got into some type of argument with the Mexican. Now, the Mexican that came from out west, where they had a little bit more pull, but he still had the arrogance of being out west, and he ain't understand he was in West Virginia. Make a long story short, he must have been important in the, in the pit and, in the social circles of, the Serenios. Make a long story short, one of his homies came in a day room while they was debating or whatever was going on in the cell and act like he was going. I don't know if he reached or act like he was, like gripping like he had, and like G Train bust off on him, almost broke his jaw, fractured something up here, knocked him out. He was getting ready to punish the other dude, but I was like, kind of like, I ain't stopping. I don't touch nobody when nobody get into it. And if anybody remember what happened, he was already heated. So I just kind of like told him like, look, brother, people's right here. They gonna see whatever else. By this time, his man was kind of waking up. They was gonna clean him up, but the Mexican dude, I ain't gonna say his name. He was Sereno. We kind of like became, I ain't gonna say friends, cause the Serenos and the DC dudes couldn't really be friends, but personally we had dealings. That's all I'm gonna say. And I did a couple favors for him while he was there. And when I came home, I had been gone for many a years. He got his family from Los Angeles to do me a favor when I came home. Made sure I had a couple things that I needed. And when he got out, I ran into him again when we went to visit Cabo. He from somewhere else, like Culiacan, but he visited Cabo when we visited Cabo as well. So when I was in Cabo, he stayed at a resort just a little bit away from me. It's Tone from First Street, a good fighter, like a fair one type of guy. Hell yeah. Tone to get your head up. He'll tell you get your shit together. Plenty stories about Tone doing that. Tell you go get your demonstration, or you know what I mean, throw your shit up. He ain't try. He gonna address the situation like a man, like a real gladiator. Young homie told me, he said, man, I met your man Tone when I was in Hazelton with him. I said, yeah. He said, yeah, man. He said, so Tone got into it with a dude from somewhere else. I ain't gonna mention where they from right now. And I don't feel like getting into that. They was out of Pennsylvania, not Philly though. I think it was one of them Pennsylvania dudes that do the gangbang. A lot of Philly guys and a lot of Pennsylvania guys during my era in time, they didn't do gangbanging. But this particular dude, he was into some type of gangbanging, and he got into it with the homies. And he was trying to throw his weight around a little bit. So Tone told the young homies, shout out to Clay Turris. It was a couple Clay Turris dudes that the one who I'm talking about gonna remember this story. So he was like, Tone was like, bro, don't nobody get with it, man. I got this. So dudes was like, nah, we gonna punish me. He's like, nah, bro. Tone say, don't get with it, don't get with it. Tone goes in the cell, handles the business, man, take care of everything by itself, but nobody ended up having to go to the hole. The dude that I'm talking about ended up having to go in. So, you need people around like that that's gonna tell the people, man, look, it ain't got to be knife play, it ain't got to be murder. Like, I take care of it. You know what I mean? You know how many people, man, that made it home because of guys like that. He not the only guy like that, but he one of the guys that people will speak about. So shout out to Tone, bro. I subscribe, bro. I like how you tell stories very detailed. Oh, for real? Man, shout out to man East Southeast LA. I like how you just made me believe that you was from LA. I thought you was lying, but you kinda talked about LA and Mexican and black relationships. I like that. I like people who know what they talking about. Shout out to my Cali brothers. I had a bunch of homies from out there that was cool though. That wasn't Serranos, but one of the Serranos, he was from Mexico for real. I told you, he said he's from Culiacan. If I'm pronouncing it correctly, he wasn't from LA, but he ran with them. That's love, bro. One thing about the South Side is if you rock with us, we rock with y'all. I'm saying the guys that I met, now I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie, but you know, we got a lot of bad blood in the face. See, you young, so you ain't been poisoned by a lot of that stuff yet. And I'm glad. You know what I mean? All black dudes ain't messed up, all Mexican dudes ain't messed up, and we don't all hate each other. I'm glad we could talk about that. So what you're saying is one of the West Coast federal prisons, the DC guys allowed the Serenos to throw their weight around. When you stated it's different on the East Coast, DC wasn't strong on the West Coast. That's a good analyzation. I ain't gonna say DC wasn't strong on the West Coast, but let's go back to the 90s in Long Park for an example. You got a lot of homies that's older than me that was there. The blacks from the West Coast, specifically California, most of them was Crips and Bloods. They had their own thing. A lot of them had dealings of some sort, friendly or non-friendly, with whites and Mexicans from LA. So they ran the prison just like Lewisburg was a stronghold for guys from this side of the country, New York, Baltimore, Philadelphia, DC, especially up on that side. New Jersey as well, because New Jersey dudes rocked out with the Long Park thing. A couple of them was from Jersey. But I ain't gonna say that they was throwing their weight around, but that's their side of town, home. Like I can't come in your house and just go on your refrigerator. So that's kind of how it was on the West Coast, and that's why the homies always end up getting into it with them. But it was a big thing that the homies had a problem with the blacks that was Crips. Some people say Crips and Bloods, but my homie that was there, I ain't gonna say his name neither in this particular situation. He said he had a problem with the Crips that was there at the time because they allowed the guys to play the race card and then separate on demographics or geographics, better yet. Like the homies don't really do that. If the homies there, you could be from Savannah, Georgia. Ain't no other race gonna stomp your brains in while the homies there. Ain't no homies gonna let it go down. Ain't no homies from where I'm from. DC gonna let nobody else say, yo, the DC dudes let the AB stomp a dude from Missouri brains out. That ain't gonna happen when we there. Unless they stomp our brains out too. You get it? I don't wanna be the guy to say, oh, we big and bad, wah wah wah. Bruh, a dude is raised like me to come from Lawton and come from DC. If he in a chow hall and some dirty white boys crushing a dude from Norfolk, Virginia, see, that's too close. He crushing a dude from Minnesota. He crushing a dude from Milwaukee. Bro, DC is not going for that. You're not gonna do that. We the Pyru boy. That's the law. I remember the silver poet took that punishment from Antone and Leavenworth and many more. If you was at Leavenworth, that was when Tone was young. Tone to tell some of them old stories, especially if it ain't no statute of limitation type situation going on. But they punished the you know what I'm talking about. They punished the white boys in Leavenworth in regards to the Latin kings, if I ain't mistaken. No, vice lord. They was vice lords. The vice lord dude turned the TV, and the white guys got in their feelings about it. What he say his name? William Gregory Jackson Neal. Yeah, he knows something. He said, I remember the silver poet took that punishment from Antone and Leavenworth and many more. Go sit down, bye. Bye, go lay down. Mandatory workouts for the Mexicans. The Mexicans, yeah, they do mandatory workouts. The homies, ain't no mandatory workout. We don't operate on no gang code now. Further out west, like ADX, some homies operate in a situation where it's mandatory workouts, everybody on the same time, but that's the people that's with that. On the East Coast, I ain't gonna say mandatory. I ain't gonna say mandatory. Like certain dudes and they groups or the circles that they run in is mandatory amongst them that they shake out. That's part of what they do. But we ain't no gang. We don't rock like that. Like, see, you from the West Coast, so you probably think or look at it in the gang culture because that's how y'all culture is where you from. We don't come from a gang culture. That's one thing about us, good and bad. I think if we had a gang culture, not to promote that we need gang culture here, but I met young guys and old guys that came from backgrounds like Chicago and LA and other places that came from places like they had gang culture there. As they matured, that gang culture turned into different things pertaining to organizing. You know, they knew how to organize and it wasn't no thing with dudes, like I don't want to say follow orders, because as a DC guy, we hate the term follow orders, but can't be a whole bunch of chiefs and only one Indian. Quick question: do you ever think DC would have his own prison? I don't, I don't know. There was a time before there was Lawton where the District of Columbia did not have its own prison, so it's not like that. It wasn't like that before, and then it changed, and then it went back to. So from where I'm from, we never thought that they would pass a law that said if you got life as a juvenile that you could get back out. So, in my life, I'm in my 40s. I've seen, man, 4 decades in the United States. Things change and they change fast. Oh, I gotta go watch this thing y'all told me to watch, man. Patrick David with the interview with John Gotti's son. Who seen that? What about Camp Gang? Okay, now that's what's up. Who is worse to get into it with? Antonio Mario. I ain't gonna get into all that. I can't judge no man. And those two different type of dudes, even on a prison tip. Long live Mink though. I know you only asking like on some like boxing sports type shit, but I ain't gonna do that. I don't have the knowledge to really do that. I know one thing, you don't want to get into nothing with them on the same compound though. Imagine you on the compound out Atwater and you get into something. You got him, all the rest of the homies, Titus, Los, Mad Dog, Black Valley, LA, Larry Moe, Gerald, Nunu, Mike P. Like, you had a whole bunch of men out there. It wasn't no just one man out Atwater. And I know I missed some because I wasn't there. I came home that year. I was sending money out Atwater. I was getting dudes that was in Atwater. So if you was in Atwater at that time, like 2009, 2010, I was getting at them. He said, "You look 40. You look younger, being in your 40s, bro. You look like early 30s." Well, I did some prison time. I ain't abused no drugs or nothing. I think I came home healthy. Hold on 1 second. Be right back. Need you to hook up a chess match with me and Anton. Oh, okay. I just heard Mario was more scary. Nah, see, that's them stories that's told by dudes that's on the outside looking in, man. Cause you don't want to get on the wrong side of Slim Neva, bro. You don't want to play with Tone. Tone to come to the prison, man. Like, this true story, man. Somebody gonna go tell him I said this. But in prison, you got dudes that do all type of things. So you got dudes that jack. And people be trying to say, oh, the DC dudes do this and the DC dudes do that and the DC dudes be jacking. Tone went to certain prisons where as though, I ain't gonna say he went there and stopped it, but after they got there, he done told dudes that man was coming in like, bro, we don't do that here. And you'll get sent up top for doing it if you say that you agree with it. If you agree that you're not gonna behave like that while you there around them and you violate that, he gonna challenge you on your honor. Because as a man, you already said, yo, that's not what I'm doing here. I mean, and there's other stories. You can talk to other dudes that been in prisons. Some prisons that people allow that behavior, and some prisons that the convicts don't allow it. You can't do that around certain men. Hold on.
Murder rate climbed through the 70s as gangs fought over turf and sell weed, heroin, and PCP.
I served 9 years in jail, so I
Crack hit the
understand.
streets in the early 80s.
Shit, that's a decade to me.
Much more dangerous. Robert Ladd and Tim Grant were the rookies when Compton's first ever gang unit was formed.
Oh man, how old were you at that point? Man, I was about 22, probably. I think I weighed 150 then. Compton, when I started in '82, it was the first generation of the gangs being formed. It's
So you
100
served
years
nine
ago.
years in jail. Where you served the 9 years at, James?
Craig New Park. It used to be the home of
What,
the
you
Craig
broke a
New Park
window?
Crips.
Why you say that?
Mostly selling water, but they called it back then was PCP.
Broke a window.
And then early '83, rock cocaine hit Compton. And then
I've
all of a
never
sudden,
been booked
crime
before, but
disappeared.
I did work
And
over
guys
the
were able
jail,
to
and
grow
I
and get
seen some
influence.
shit.
When you see a bottle of
Oh, Linda, you
PCP
worked over the jail where? In Baltimore, D.C.? I'm from the UK. Shout out to the UK.
guys would say, "See, I didn't throw anything, I didn't do anything," and it took us several times before we realized what it was, and it was rock cocaine. It started in this spot, and immediately it just
Yeah,
spread
yeah,
to
Jamal.
Compton, where every neighborhood was
You
affiliated.
right on all everything you said. You right on. I don't gotta repeat it. Oh, Linda said she worked at Baltimore. So if you worked at Baltimore, you worked at the jail over Baltimore. You seen the same type of things that go on in jails all over the country,
The gang network
right or wrong. So you know what I'm talking about.
as a perfect drug network.
Kids in the neighborhood didn't have a chance. You had 12 to 15-year-olds out
The
there selling
pen, the
weed,
booking,
cocaine,
and intake,
heroin,
MTC. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
gold chains,
That
nice
used to be the real joint back in the day too.
pretty girls.
She said, "Hell yeah."
What are you gonna
You
do?
know exactly what I'm talking about. So certain behaviors that you can
Organization
indulge in there, you couldn't indulge in at certain prisons with certain members that they wasn't going for. Certain things you just couldn't do. I don't care how tough you was, how much you thought that you was a renegade or you a gorilla.
Daryl Potts was one
One
of
thing
those.
about gorillas,
He started dealing weed when he was
they got
18.
people that tame gorillas in some of them
He was the
places.
leader of West Side Power Rangers.
This is the bizarre part.
Damn, somebody said I got an accent. Where you from? They said I got an accent.
We walk around this park now because this
Where
is
you
making me
from?
flashback into time, seeing the bodies of these
Absolutely.
individuals that were
Let them
deceased.
know that. That's fact.
And
But
some
men
of them
supposed to
stayed
respect
with
men
us
around the universe. It wouldn't
for the
matter.
rest of my life. I started selling for an individual, and for every $100 I made him, I
Came
made
down a
$20. I
concert.
never wanted to just sit
Texas.
for
Shout out to
for
Texas,
any
man.
long period of time. I sold what I had to sell,
Shout out to
and I
Texas.
moved on.
Texas said I got an accent.
He eventually took the street name Wacker and built a feared reputation in Compton.
I started doing all kind of things to get money at a young age, and I lost who Earl really was. When I became Wacker, I became hard. I became what my
I'm
environment made me.
cooling, man. Just relaxing, man. Was playing the game for a second. Took a little smoke break. So let me check out my YouTube crew.
And it was more like
Try to be a little bit more regular.
before, so I left the problem.
Have a good stream. I appreciate it.
Wait a minute. Community disorderly used to be a problem. Well, you got a situation, brother. These street soldiers, they don't mind killing. Now they have a motive and it's talent.
Where you from, man? I see the UK. I see Cali. I see Texas. Where else we got up in
Back
here?
in the '70s,
Carolina ain't up in this
these
joint.
guys, when they go do little turf wars with the rival gangs, I mean, they would spray 50, 100 rounds, and you're getting people hit a block away. A round that goes through can hit some lady in her house, and you might have 15 victims in the scene.
So you had a low level guerrilla war going on between the different
Baltimore. Yeah, my bad. Shout out to Baltimore.
and a lot of
I keep saying I'm gonna get back to this Anthony Jones story, man. I'm gonna tell you. Sometimes y'all be saying that y'all want me to cover certain stories, and
But in Compton,
I
trauma
be trying to,
routinely set
I be
in.
trying to keep in mind that some of these guys, even the ones that I know and I get at them, I don't be wanting to tell their story in a way that the newspaper and whatnot told their stories
You talk out
when they got sent to prison.
waking up Saturday to go play ball, but the cat you were supposed to go play ball with was trying to carjack somebody in the driveway. And
Okay,
it didn't go
Texas.
the way it was supposed to.
Anthony Jones, that man is beyond crazy. You know Anthony Jones, was you there when he came through?
You grew up with
He came up in my era time, the
family,
90s.
and you just up around and just say, "What up, cuz?"
I respected Mario because I heard he would challenge the baddest bullies that would intimidate lesser men and project those who could protect themselves. That's a real admirable and heroic story. I mean, that's a hell of a way to paint the picture for the legacy of Meek Meek. I ain't gonna say that ain't true. I was locked up with Anthony Jones, co-defendant in '97. Oh yeah, where you was at? '97. Where you was at over the jail, Baltimore joint? Or you was locked up out Charles County or wherever where they sent them at? Shout out to my man Mookie. Me and Mookie was down Lee County together. Daryl Jones. So yeah, I was a preteen at the time, but him and my uncle used to run together back in the day. Oh, so you know him from the street. You know who he is for real. Still sad, BCDC. Okay. My little bro from my projects just lost federal trial 2 days ago on 3 murders. He 22 years old. We from Jersey City, OG. Look it up. Like, I ain't even trying to think about, man, what he got to go through. But just tell him keep his head up, man. If he blew trial, that mean he fought. So he had enough heart to fight. I don't know the circumstances. I don't want to talk about it on here. But he got to go to the law library and he got to do a couple other things that I'm sure if he had enough heart to go through and go to trial on something like that, he got a spirit that, one of them, them spirits of resilience. Oh, Linda said still sad was beyond crazy, so she know what you talking about. Hold on one second. Man. It's a nice little documentary on Compton, especially for people who don't know what Compton is. I guess they did a good job on this joint. This ain't really no low budget jump. I highlight for somebody to do a real in-depth documentary in DC on the origin of go-go, man. Like, we don't even respect go-go enough now. I'm saying people commercialize it and make money off it now, but we don't really teach the rest of the world what was so special about go-go. It's almost like you got to come to DC and experience it. And now, a lot of that history and that culture is gone. You got dudes now that's from DC to say they don't even like go-go. I try not to even talk about that. Wouldn't wish that shit on nobody. Learned a lot though. Me too. Yeah, that's a good idea. Sometimes I watch these documentaries to get ideas for other stuff we be working on. Yeah, that's the reason why I tell some of them Lord stories. They think I be telling them stories to glorify present, man. I be telling them stories so people realize what go on in there, what the dudes that went through those things before me went through, that even made some things maybe a slight bit easier for people that came after them. Same thing with the dudes that came in during the time I came. I ain't a kid no more. I ain't a youngin' no more. I was a youngin' when I went in, but I was a part of that era of those guys that came through the system. Shout out to my man Fat Wick.
Lonzo recruited them to join his group. World-class
Pinnacles,
athletes.
Rosedale, E Street, 16th Street, all that shit.
We were trendsetters of our time. To us, it's corny now, but we always try to relate to the women. That was a look back then, man. They had that sequel thing going.
Why don't y'all respect those who just take the plea deal and cop out for a lesser sentence? Ho, I took a cop, bruh. When you see me talk about the people that got the cops, it's not about the cops. You can plead guilty, that's on you. But if you read the cop and the cop say what you plead guilty to and you pleaded guilty to cooperate, that's what's messed up. I ain't see your comment, my bad. I'm glad you told me to go back and look.
30 years.
So for an example, if you look at a plea deal and in the plea deal it says that a person debriefed, then you know they sat down and they talked to the peoples. You may not know what they sat down and talked to the peoples about, but me, I ain't doing that. Now I shun that. Like I said, he was 20 when he was over there. That joint was rough. Definitely wasn't for the weak. I heard the same thing.
Thousands of families were destroyed by drug abuse.
Oh, they say Marine Boy just came home. I seen somebody say shout out Marine Boy.
My parents met in 1978 at a club called Carolina West. It was a cultural night by this unusual black guy. He was a bouncer at the club.
Alfredo? I don't know if I know him. Wow, the go-go slash DC subject is a deep, interesting thing. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's a subject of people that's a little bit more in tune to the history of that should be doing as opposed to me, though. You feel me? It's copping out in the police saying, I conspiracy. I conspired with others to do such and such ratting. Let me say this. I don't want to make a blanket statement. That's a case by case situation. Let me give you an example though of what I don't think is correct. Me and three other people, or me and two other people. Let's make it a three-person situation. We all accused of something. I'm a car joint. If I plead guilty to a statement of facts that say me and the other two dudes did it, then that means I'm not admitting to just my guilt. I'm admitting to the guilt of me and two other people. That's where it come into being case by case. Now, if all three people agree that we taking this cop to 5 so we don't all get 20 or 30, that's cool on the co-defendants. But two co-defendants can't say, yo, I didn't do it, and one co-defendant say, yo, I did do it and we did it like this. That ain't cool. What's up? What it do? Okay, cool. Got a new documentary on the legacy of Kobe Bryant. You should check it out. I think it's gonna be dope. Okay, say no more. I'm a Kobe fan. I love Kobe. I play with Kobe on the game all the time. Matter of fact, let me kick this game off, bro.
Power. Putting your PS5 into rest mode.
Wanna be on CNN. All right, that's a bet, man. Great, man. Work on this joint I gotta do for the mob, man. Appreciate the love, appreciate the conversation. Shout out to my Baltimore family, man. Always tapping in. Shout out to Jersey, shout out to New York, shout out to Cali. Yeah, sure. I'm up to talking about what I learned to start a YouTube channel because I thought it was a big deal, but in all actuality, it's just consistency. So you know what the business is.